Hi everyone, welcome to our weekly meditation, music and wisdom series. My name is Bhava, I'm a monk from the Happy Jiva team. And today, first of all, we'll start off by discussing a verse from the famous Bhagavad Gita, which is considered as the prime yoga text of India. And today we'll be discussing from the second chapter, text number 7. And it is a verse spoken by Arjuna to Krishna. For those of you who don't know, the whole Bhagavad Gita is basically a conversation between two personalities. One is Arjuna, the other one is Krishna. Arjuna, he's the one who's putting forward all the questions and doubts. He's going through a very tough time in his life. And Krishna, he's acting as Arjuna's spiritual master or spiritual guide or guru and giving Arjuna spiritual instructions in his life. Now these instructions of Krishna to Arjuna, which makes up most of the Bhagavad Gita, is something universal in the sense that it's something that anyone from any part of the world, regardless of time, place and circumstance, they can apply in their lives to solve whatever problems come across them in their own lives. So let's get into it. We'll be reading from second chapter, text number 7. So this is spoken by Arjuna to Krishna. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure due to miserly weakness. In this condition I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So in this verse, Arjuna, he is appealing to Krishna, his friend, to please become his spiritual master. Please give him guidance. Arjuna is understanding that actually on his own endeavor, using his own intelligence, own brain power, he can't solve the problem which has come across in his life. And he's asking for help. He's telling Krishna that, please help me, I can't figure this out. I don't know which way to go, what is right, what is wrong. I'm surrendering myself unto you. You please help me. You please give me spiritual instructions. You please give me guidance into what I should do in this situation. Now, to give you a bit of background of what actually Arjuna is going through in his life. Arjuna is actually a warrior and he's in the middle of the battlefield. I'll show you here a picture. It's right at the front. So he's right in the middle of the battlefield. Arjuna and Krishna are in there. And the problem is this war that Arjuna is fighting. The bad guys or the persons on the other side, they're his friends, family, cousins, uncles, grandfather and so on. So it's something like, imagine being a police officer and you have to go arrest one of your own brothers or cousins or one of your own uncles. And not even arrest, maybe you might even have to shoot your own brother or cousin. So it's a very tough, awkward position to be in. He knows that the other sides are the bad guys and he has to fight them, but at the same time there are his own family men, there are his own brothers who he's grown up with, there are his own cousins, uncles and so on. So all of the persons on the other side of the battlefield, they're all of his relatives. So such a situation is very difficult. And at the start of the battle, before the battle actually begins, Arjuna is very much overcome by compassion and is very much confused about, should I fight or should I not fight? Yes, I understand they're bad and I need to fight this for the sake of my duty, for the sake of Dharma. But at the same time, they're my own family men. How can I kill my own uncles? How can I kill my own cousins and my brothers? So at this junction of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is now putting himself forward under Krishna. That Krishna, I'm not sure what to do in this situation. You please tell me what to do. So that's a bit of a background to this verse. Now I'll continue reading the purport or the commentary on this verse. Purport. By nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. In every step there is perplexity, and therefore it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master, who can give one proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. So just like Arjuna, he's going through a tough situation in his life, in the same way, all of us, pretty much in every step of our lives, different problems and anxieties, stress, and different problems come and hit us. And these problems, no one plans for, it just comes out of its own accord. So this is something we can all relate to. And the instructions that Krishna gives to help Arjuna is something we ourselves can apply in our own lives. I'll continue with the purport. All Vedic literatures advise us, therefore, to approach a bona fide spiritual master, to get free from the perplexities of life, which happen without our desire. They are like a forest fire that somehow blazes without being set by anyone. Similarly, the world situation is such that perplexities of life automatically appear without our wanting such confusion. So now in the purport, analogy or metaphor is given to describe this. It's the metaphor of a bushfire or a forest fire. Just like no one plans for a bushfire to happen, but the bushfire happens automatically. Just like in the previous year, at the end of 2019, the famous Australian bushfire started. No one knew that at the end of 2019, this great bushfire is going to happen and it's going to burn up so much land, destroy so many houses, and cause so much damage to us. It just happens just like that automatically. No one wants a bushfire to happen, but it just happens. In the same way, the yoga texts explain that life in the material world, life in mature existence is something very similar. It's like being stuck in a big bushfire. No one wants fire to take place, but it just happens. In the same way, no one wants unhappiness to hit them. No one wants stress, anxiety, problems, viruses and natural disasters, relationship problems, financial problems to hit them. But these things just come hit us just like that. We don't plan for it, but it comes hits us. And many times it seems like the bushfire is coming from all directions. We might see the bushfire coming from one direction, we run the other side, but we also see the bushfire coming from that direction also. So it seems like from all angles the fire is coming closer and closer to us, and we're stuck in the middle and we have nowhere to go. Life in this material is like that. Problems come hit us from all different directions. On one side, we might be having problems with our family, with our relationships. On the other side, there is financial problems. On the other side, such a thing as coronavirus just suddenly comes up. No one expected that such a thing like this would happen. Coronavirus, which would disturb the entire world. So no one plans for these problems and different anxieties to come upon us, but it just comes. And many times it seems that from all angles, from the angle of our relationships, financial side, climate change, coronavirus, some disease going across, it seems from all sides, so many different problems and anxiety sufferings are hitting us. And it sometimes feels in life that we're just stuck in the middle and we're not sure what to do, where to go. Now, when a bushfire happens, we can go further into the metaphor. What we do, we try and bring some fire brigades, as we did last year, and we see the firefighters, they're spraying water all over the fire, and sometimes we bring in the helicopters, and the helicopters, they start pouring water from the sky. But as we saw in the previous year, and at the start of this year, that the bushfire that happened in Australia was so powerful, so strong, that despite our all endeavors of the firefighters, with the helicopters and the water spraying, still the bushfires weren't stopping. It just kept blazing on. So the yoga texts explain that the only way that a blazing bushfire, a strong blazing bushfire can be extinguished is when the clouds come and when the rain pours forth from the sky. Only when gallons and gallons or thousands and thousands of liters of water pour from the sky, from the clouds, only then can a great bushfire be extinguished fully. Otherwise, using our own material solutions, it seems to be a very temporary solution and it seems to not fully extinguish the bushfire. In the same way, the monks or the yoga texts explain that to completely stop all the problems of mature existence, to get a one-stop solution for all our problems of mature existence, we need to go beyond the mature plane to the spiritual level and apply spiritual solutions. The great scientist Albert Einstein, even he said that a problem can't be solved on its own level. One needs to go beyond to a next level. So in the same way, the monks explain that using material solutions, we can only do so much to solve the problems of life. And that we need to go to a spiritual level and apply spiritual technology or spiritual solutions to solve our material problems. And for this, one needs guidance from the spiritual master. So just like for a bushfire, the only way a bushfire can be fully extinguished is when the rains come and just completely water out all the fire. In the same way, in the metaphor, the spiritual master or the guru, he's compared to that rain cloud. The rain cloud, it borrows water from the ocean. It takes water from the ocean. The sun evaporates the water from the ocean. The rain cloud picks up that water from the ocean, comes to the forest where the bushfire is happening, and the rain cloud pours down the water, and the bushfire is extinguished. In the same way, the yoga texts explain that the guru or the spiritual master, he is like that rain cloud. the ocean, that's compared to the instructions of Krishna, or that's compared to the instructions of the famous Vedic wisdom texts of India, or the famous yoga texts of India. So the spiritual master, he takes the knowledge that is presented or stored in the yoga texts of India, or the spiritual textbooks, and he puts forward spiritual guidance, or gives spiritual guidance from these books, teaches us how to practically apply these instructions in our own life to solve the problems of life. And that is the position, that is the unique gift of the spiritual master. And in this section of Bhagavad Gita, we see this happening practically with Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna is going through a tough time in his life. He tried, in using his own intelligence, to solve the problem. He tried to think of different ways of how he can solve, but still he was confused and he wasn't sure what to do. And now finally he's submitting himself towards Krishna, saying, Krishna, I accept you as my spiritual master. You please guide me and please tell me what I should do. In the same way, as I was explaining before, different problems will come across our lives, and the material solutions we apply would only be like a band-aid solution, just a temporary solution. To solve all these problems of material existence as a whole, for once and for all, we need to go to spiritual level and apply spiritual technology. And that's where the guru or the spiritual master comes in. The guru is like the rain cloud, which pours forth water from the ocean, and that water is compared to the spiritual instructions that's given in the Vedic texts, which the guru puts forward in simple practical means in a way that's easily understandable for us, suiting to our circumstances. So I'll continue reading the purport. Similarly, the world situation is such that perplexities of life automatically appear without our wanting such confusion. No one wants fire, yet it takes place, and we become perplexed. The Vedic wisdom therefore advises us that in order to serve the perplexities of life and to understand the science of the solution, one must approach a spiritual master who is in the disciplic succession. A person with a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything. One should not therefore remain in material perplexities, but should approach a spiritual master. That is the purport of this verse. So now we can discuss a bit about what are the qualifications of a bona fide spiritual master. Because the main purport of this verse is the need of accepting spiritual guidance in life, accepting a spiritual master to help us through challenging times in our lives. But there's so many persons out there, and how do we know who we should take spiritual guidance from? So there's a few different qualifications given in the wisdom texts of India about the qualifications of a guru. Number one, firstly, the spiritual master or the guru, he needs to be very much well-versed and knowledgeable in all the wisdom that's contained in the authorized spiritual text. Just like, for example, if you want to study medicine at a university, then the person we're studying medicine from, he must be very much learned in all the different textbooks of medicine. He must know them both in theory and also in how to apply them practically in different situations in life. So in the same way, the guru or the spiritual master, he must be very much knowledgeable in the essence of all the spiritual wisdom texts, and he must also understand or know how to apply these teachings, spiritual teachings, in practical worldly activities. And secondly, the yoga texts explain that the spiritual guide or the spiritual teacher, the guru, he must be coming down in a chain or a disciplic succession of previous spiritual masters, which means he must have himself studied under another guru or another spiritual master, and there must be a chain of spiritual masters coming down for him to be a bona fide. Just like at a university, the person we're studying from, let's say maths, a maths teacher, he himself must have studied maths under another mathematics teacher. And by studying nicely under another maths teacher, he himself must have passed all the exams, and he himself must have got himself a degree in mathematics. He must have properly qualified himself to be a mathematics teacher, and then we know, okay, this teacher, he's bona fide. He himself has studied maths at this and this university. He has passed those exams, he got high honors, and he has this degree, he's properly authorized. Okay, I can be safe and I can learn mathematics from him. He's a proper teacher. In the same way, the yoga texts explain that the guru or the spiritual teacher we accept, we need to make sure that he's coming down in a chain of disciplic disciplic succession of previous spiritual masters. He himself must have studied under another guru, and that guru must be coming down in a bona fide disciplic succession. And thirdly, the yoga texts explain that the spiritual master, he must practice what he teaches, which means he must himself should be fully fixed in spiritual consciousness. And secondly, he himself must be completely detached from all material affairs. Not that the spiritual master, he gives spiritual guidance and tells you that, okay, you need to become more spiritual, you need to let go of all your material attachments. But when you look at your own teacher's life, you see that he's just, not following anything. He himself is nicely enjoying, not detaching himself from matter, and he himself is not practicing what he's teaching. So such kind of hypocrisy is not the qualification of a bona fide teacher. The teacher, he himself must practice what he teaches. He himself must teach by his own practical example detachment from material enjoyment. He himself must show by his own personal example how to be firmly fixed in spiritual life, in spiritual consciousness. So by judging the person based on these qualifications, one can understand who is a bona fide teacher, and by such examination, one can pick a teacher or a spiritual guide and take instruction from him. And that is the main purport of this verse. And in the last section of this purport, I'll just read out the line again. The Vedic wisdom therefore advises us that in order to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the science of the solution, one must approach a bona fide spiritual master who is in the disciplic succession. So the bona fide spiritual master who is coming in disciplic succession, he helps us understand the science of the solution. And the science of the solution, or the spiritual solution to all our problems of life, is stored in these spiritual texts such as the Bhagavad Gita. So one might ask, what are such spiritual solutions that one can apply in their lives when they're overcome by anxiety, stress, distress, just like Arjuna is undergoing in the Bhagavad Gita? What are some spiritual solutions one can apply in their own lives to get solace and relief from these situations? One spiritual solution the ancient wisdom texts of India give is that of mantra meditation. So everyone's heard of meditation. The word mantra is a Sanskrit word. It's composed of two words. One is man and the second is tra. Man means the mind and tra means to free or deliver. So mantras are transcendental or spiritual sound vibrations that help free our mind from all sorts of stress, anxiety, past impressions, mental turbulences. And ultimately, mantras help free ourselves from material existence, from material entanglement, and liberate the soul from material existence and take the soul back home to the spiritual world. Now there's many mantras out there that one can chant or use for meditation. Out of all the mantras, the Vedic texts of India, they prescribe the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra for this day and age as the most practical means of self-realization. The Hare Krishna mantra is also dubbed as the Maha mantra. Maha means great. So this Hare Krishna mantra is dubbed as the greatest of all other mantras. And the whole mantra goes like this: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now, chanting this mantra can be done in two ways. One is japa. That's where we chant on beads. You probably might have seen meditation beads before. So on each bead we chant one mantra and we go on continuously chanting. And that's like your own personal meditation, which you do by yourself. And that's called japa, or your own personal meditation, which you do on your own meditation beads. The second type of mantra meditation is that of, that's called kirtan. So kirtan is when you do as a group. So you can sit along with your friends and family. And in kirtan, everyone chants together as a group the mantra in a different tune or a melody. So there'll be a lead singer who'll sing the tune in a particular melody. And then the audience or the rest of the members of the group, they will respond. And during kirtan, you can use different musical instruments such as cymbals, drums, harmonium, violin, guitar, and so on. And kirtan is a very nice, enlivening way of mantra meditation. You get together as a group, as family and friends, and you sing the mantra in nice, very beautiful, soothing melodies. And you can just close your eyes and just listen to the sound vibration. That's the very key and important point of mantra meditation. When we're chanting these mantras, especially during japa, during our personal meditation on beats. The most important thing to focus on is on hearing the sound vibration. We don't have to imagine some white light in our mind or imagine some picture or this or that. All we have to do is just simply hear the sound vibration. The sound vibration of the mantra is itself spiritual, is itself transcendental. And all we have to do is simply hear the sound of the mantra. And the sound will enter into our consciousness and completely soothe our mind and soothe our hearts. And that's one of the effects given of mantra meditation. So now we'll do a bit of kirtan, which is the meditation, mantra meditation, where we, as a group, we chant the mantra in a particular melody. So I'll sing the Maha Mantra or the Hare Krishna mantra now in a particular melody with the other monks, and we'll use some different musical instruments. And you all can also chant along with us, and it will happen in a call and response style. I'll sing the mantra in one particular melody, then everyone responds, then I'll sing again, then everyone responds. In this way, together as a team, we'll all participate in this very nice form of meditation, which is very soothing for our mind, very soothing for our soul. So let's get into it. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Thank you everyone for joining us today and watching. We'll be having these weekly meditation sessions and wisdom talks every Saturday from 6 to 7. Please have a look on our website for more information, www.thehappyjiva.com. And for any questions, inquiries, please send us an email at info@thehappyjiva.com.